the release of The Sims 1, the Goth family has appeared in most Sims games, and though their house changes from one game to the next, one thing they all feature is a graveyard on the lot. Except in The Sims 4. But I think I've cracked this mystery and figured out what happened to the Goth graves in The Sims 4. Because in the village of Forgotten Hollow, there is a mansion, owned by a certain count, that's suspiciously full of graves. Now obviously Vlad here is a very old vampire, so over the years it makes sense that some graves could accumulate. One sim grave, that's a tragedy. A dozen sim graves, that's probably all of Spectre. But over 50 sim graves? That's just careless, even for an out and proud vampire. Some say that he just happens to live in a cemetery, but if you ask me, the only logical explanation here is that he's been running around throughout the sim world, stealing Sims' gravestones and urns in the night. Why else would he rush over in the middle of the night to the Goth house, and then stare at the front door for several hours? Very suspicious. But as a vampire, Vlad can only work the night shift, so it seems clear to me that he's enlisted the help of one Eliza Pancakes to steal the graves during the daytime. Simmers have often reported that she will wander the neighbourhood stalking their Sims. But what if it's not the Sims she's interested in? But it is finally time to right this wrong and return the graves. Okay, that's not one of the Goth family graves, that's just a random sim I killed, but I mean, it's a world where Katrina Caliente exists, so if you ask me, anything's possible. But going back to the Sims 1 graveyard, there are several mysteriously named ghosts, including a child sim named Bratty who looks identical to Cassandra Goth. It's not clear what connection these sims had to the Goth family, though several of the sims have names like auntie, cousin, grandma and so on, implying that they are deceased relatives of the Goths. Another child sim ghost has the name Boy, and he looks weirdly similar to Alexander Goth, though this is probably a coincidence since I don't think Alexander was conceptualized before the creation of The Sims 2. It's possible that Bratty and Boy were both supposed to be Cassandra's cousins, although it's interesting that they aren't just called cousin like the other cousin sim. If they are related, then that could explain why Bratty looks so similar to Cassandra. But since they have the same outfit and haircut, the similarities between the two are quite eerie. It's almost like she was supposed to be some kind of deceased twin, or like an evil clone or something. On the Sims wiki page for Bratty, they mention that she shares Cassandra's star sign Cancer, but that she has no personality points. The interesting thing about this is, if you look up the wiki pages for the other ghosts, they all have personality points, so this isn't purely because she's a ghost. Since I'm not that familiar with The Sims 1, I'm not sure how they got access to the Ghost Sims personality data. I did find a program called IFF Pencil 2 that allows you to open character files, including for ghosts, but I couldn't see anything in there that was obviously personality related. But I might have missed something. It is interesting that they chose not to give her any personality points, including nice points, and with the name Bratty it kind of suggests to me that she was probably intended to be a mean sim. As far as I know, Maxes have never clarified the story of these graves or their connection to the Goth house. And at the time, they might not have put much thought into it and just made mostly random sims to kill off and help with the spooky aesthetic of the house. Obviously in later games they created more of a history for the Goth family and a different family tree, and none of the names mentioned in this graveyard return later on. But I do kind of like the idea that Bratty was supposed to be Cassandra's evil twin. So this next ghost story is from The Sims 3. I hadn't actually heard of this sim before someone in the comments of one of my other videos brought them up. When I play The Sims 3, I usually make my own sims and households to play in that game, and I also tend not to pay attention to pet sims as much when I'm playing. But there is something interesting about this particular pet ghost. Glint 2.0 is a ghost vole whose urn can be found on the Singleton lot. In The Sims 3, the only way pets can die is of old age or by meteor strike, so it's unusual that Glint 2.0 is a ghost. I'm not sure if voles can die by being hit by a meteor or if only adult horses can, but it is possible for ghost pets to have ghostly offspring. There is a living adult horse on the lot called Glyn 3.0, but if you look at their family trees, you can see they're not related. Glyn 2.0 also doesn't seem to have any ghostly ancestors who might have given birth to him, suggesting that he died somehow in the game. He also has no memories, so there's not much info to be gained there either. It is possible to kill Sims of any age with any death type using the Master Controller mod, but I don't think EA would have used this mod while developing the Pets expansion. Some other methods, like using cheats to kill Sims by altering their hunger bar so they die of hunger quickly, or aging them up so they die of old age, wouldn't work here since Glyn 2.0 isn't an elder ghost and pets can't die of hunger. It's possible that at some point in development, EA removed or disabled the ability for foals to die, and Glyn 2.0 may have died before this. Alternatively, he might have been born in-game and they just removed references to his ancestors from his family tree. But to this day, the circumstances of Glyn's ghostly form remain a bit of a mystery. So I read on the Sims wiki that it was possible in The Sims 2 for the Grim Reaper to be scared by ghosts and to pee himself, and I really wanted to see that in-game because I'd never seen it in-game before. Initially I was actually on Olive Specter's lot. I started doing it on Olive Specter's lot, and then in the end I switched because I thought maybe that lot's too big. The ghosts are spread out across a wider area of space. If I concentrate them onto the smallest sized lot possible, maybe the Grim Reaper will be scared more easily on that lot. And I thought maybe it only happens when the Grim Reaper is off doing something, like, you know, sometimes the Grim Reaper goes to the toilet, sometimes the Grim Reaper drinks from the bar. I've heard that the Grim Reaper relaxes on beds sometimes, but in all of my attempts I couldn't get him to relax on any beds, and it still took, I don't know, 15 attempts or more maybe on the new lot before it happened, but I kept trying over and over again, and I was actually, and then it finally happened, but I was so fed up by that point because I've been doing it so long that I just kind of sped through it a little bit, so this footage isn't as great as I wanted it to be, but you can actually see in this footage the Grim Reaper being scared by ghosts. Which is great because it's the Grim Reaper. It's like, this is part of his job. You wouldn't expect him to get scared by ghosts, but it is actually possible. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Sana?